Hello.
Добрый день.
Which
Каким
professions are
профессиям
primarily threatened
угрожает
by
искусственный
artificial
интеллект прежде
intelligence?
всего?
That
То есть
is,
какие
which
профессии
professions
он
can it
может
master and
освоить и
perform
делать
better than
лучше
humans
людей
on a
на
professional level?
профессиональном уровне?
It is said that by
Говорят, к
2030,
2030 году
intelligent robots will
интеллектуальные
leave
роботы
300
оставят без
million
работы
people in the
300
world without
миллионов
work.
человек в мире.
Who does this
Кого это
affect, and
касается?
how can one
Можно ли
prepare
как-то
or protect
подготовиться,
oneself?
защититься?
Again,
Снова
a disclaimer.
Я не
I'm
говорю
not saying
ничего, что не
anything that
вытекало
wouldn't
бы
follow
из
from
моих
my
предыдущих
previous
видео и
videos
не
and
было
wouldn't
бы
be their
их
logical
логичным продолжением.
continuation.
Так что
So
если
if some of
какие-то
my
мои
thoughts
мысли
seem off the
покажутся
cuff
вам
to you,
взятыми с
watch my
потолка,
other videos on
смотрите
artificial
другие мои видео
intelligence.
на тему искусственного интеллекта.
There is a semi-jocular
Есть
saying that
сказано,
laziness
что
is the
лень
engine of
двигатель
progress.
прогресса,
People
что
became
стало
lazy
лень
to dig the
человеку
earth
копать
with
землю
shovels,
лопатой,
so they
и
invented
он
earth-moving
изобрел
equipment,
землеройную
or the
технику.
dishwasher,
Или
steam,
посудомоечную машину,
electricity, radio,
парк, электричество,
aviation.
радио, авиация.
All
Все инновации,
innovations that
заметно
significantly
меняющие
changed production
производство
and
и
society
общество,
evoked not
вызывали
only
не
positive
только
feelings,
положительные
but also
эмоции, но и
protest.
протест.
Machines were
Машины
destroyed,
разрушались,
then
снова
reinstalled.
устанавливали.
People who
Людям,
were
которые
replaced by
заменили
machines had
машину,
to find their
приходилось
role
искать
and
свою роль
place,
и место.
but they did,
Но они
and
это находили,
civilization
и
moved forward.
цивилизация шла вперед.
Definitely forward,
Определенно
because the
вперед.
population of the
Потому что
earth grew,
население Земли росло,
became more
становилось
cultured,
культурнее,
educated,
образованнее,
humane.
гуманнее.
Admit it,
Знаете,
we are
мы
better than our
лучше наших
ancestors.
предков.
We
Мы
live more
удобнее и
comfortably
дольше
and
живем.
longer.
У
We have a
нас есть
choice of who
выбор,
to
кем
be
быть и
and what to
что
believe
быть.
in. We count
Мы
3
насчитываем сегодня
technological
3
revolutions
технологических
today,
революции,
with
причем
the last,
мышление
the information
информационное
revolution,
идет прямо
happening
сейчас.
right now.
Каждая революция
Each
меняет мир
revolution
людей,
changes
и
the
в
world
ней
of
не
people,
обходится без
and there are
пострадавших.
always those who
Насчет
suffer.
пострадавших мягко
Regarding the
сказано, если
sufferers,
вспомнить
this
социальные
is softly
революции
put.
во Франции
If we
или в
remember the
России.
social revolutions in France or
Собственно,
Russia,
когда меняется
essentially,
мир,
when the
каждый
world
его
changes,
житель должен
every
меняться.
inhabitant must
Очень
change.
условно
Very
пострадавшим можно
conditionally,
считать
those
тех,
who
которые
require the most
требуются
serious
самые
changes and who
серьезные
find such
изменения,
changes
кому
most
такие
difficult
изменения
can be considered
дадутся
sufferers.
труднее всего.
I'm
Боюсь
afraid to
загадывать,
guess,
но
but
мне
it seems to
кажется,
me that the
массовое
mass
внедрение
implementation
роботов
of
в сферу
robots in the field of intellectual
интеллектуальной
activity
деятельности
will be the
будет
apotheosis
апофеозом
of the current
информационной
information
революции.
revolution.
Давайте
Let's recall
вспомним,
what smart
чего
robots
могут
can
научиться
learn,
умные
think about
роботы,
who might suffer
подумаем,
from
кто
this,
может
and
пострадать
how
от
to
этого
minimize
и
the
как
damage.
уменьшить ущерб.
Let's clarify that we are
Оговоримся,
talking
что
about
речь
intellectual
у нас об
activity.
интеллектуальной деятельности.
Physical activities like laying
Физическая
cables and
деятельность
tightening
вроде
bolts
прокладки
have their
проводов
own
и закручивания
criteria for
гаек, свои критерии
robotization.
роботизации.
There,
Там скорее
the
важен
volume of
объем
monotonous
однообразной
work that
работы,
is worth
которая стоит
robotizing
роботизировать.
is more important.
Если
If
каждая
each
задача
task is
уникальна, а
unique
расположение
and the
назначения
location
гаек
and purpose of
отличается,
the
то
bolts
толковый
differ,
слесарь
then a
будет
skilled
гораздо
mechanic
эффективнее
will be
даже
much more effective than even a relatively
сравнительно
smart
умного
robot.
робота.
Artificial
Искусственный интеллект
intelligence
может
can learn
научиться
everything
всему,
that can be
чему
learned from
можно
books.
научиться по книгам.
Everything.
Всему.
You just
Вы
upload
просто
these books
загружаете
into
в
it,
него эти
it
книги,
trains
он
on them as I
мониторирует,
described,
как описано,
and learns to
и
respond to a
научается ответ
request,
то есть в ответ
that
на
is, in
вопрос.
response to a
Включать
question,
информацию из этих
by
книг в
incorporating
ответ в
information from
соответствующем
these
контексте.
books into the answer
Загрузите в
in the
робота все
appropriate
медицинские
context.
учебники,
Load a
справочники,
robot with
монографии,
all medical
статьи, и
textbooks,
вуаля,
guides,
перед вами
monographs,
пачка
and
цитат,
articles,
которые по
and
описанию
voila,
симптомов,
you have a medical
результатам
consultant
тестов
who,
и
based on the
исследований,
description of
выдаст наиболее
symptoms,
вероятный
test
диагноз
results, and
и
research,
рекомендует
will
лечение.
give the most likely
Сегодня
diagnosis
нейросети
and recommend
умеют
treatment.
сравнивать изображения, так что
Today,
без
neural networks can
проблем
compare
увидят и
images so
идентифицируют
they can
изменения
easily
на
see and
томограмме
identify
или
changes in
рентгеновском
tomography
снимке.
or X-ray
Я
images.
утверждаю, что
I
доктор
assert that
Хаус
Dr.
из
House
известного
from the
сериала
famous series
действовал как
acted like such
такая
a
бездушная
soulless
машина.
machine.
Он
He
составлял
compiled a
список
list of possible
возможных диагнозов
diagnoses
и
and experimented on
экспериментировал на
patients,
пациентах,
excluding
исключая
diagnoses
диагнозы
one by
один за
one.
другим.
I also
Я
assert
также
that such
утверждаю,
Dr.
что
Houses can
таких
easily be
вот
replaced by
докторов
artificial
Хаусов
intelligence,
искусственный интеллект
unlike the
заменит
assistants of
запросто.
this doctor,
В отличие
who were
от
endowed with
ассистентов этих
compassion
докторов,
for the
которые были
patients.
наделены чувством сострадания к больным.
But
И
not
не
only
только книги.
books. The robot
Также легко
already easily
понимает устную
understands
речь.
spoken speech.
Поэтому если ему о чём-то
Therefore, if you
рассказать,
tell it
он
something,
превратит
it will
речь в
turn the
текст и
speech into
поступит с ним
text
так же,
and
как
deal
с
with it
книгой.
just like with a book.
Изучит и выучит.
Study
Поставьте
and learn
микрофон на
it.
лекциях в
Place a
университете, и
microphone
робот
in
смело
university
пройдет
lectures,
все курсы
and the
и
robot
сдаст
will
все тесты,
confidently
где
pass
не
all
нужно
courses and
придумывать
tests
нового.
where there is no
Повторю,
need to
не
invent something
придумывать
new.
нового.
I repeat,
Робот будет
not to
превосходен в
invent
том, чтобы
anything
найти
new.
и выделить информацию,
The robot will
содержащуюся
excel in
в
finding and
тексте.
highlighting
Он
information
также сможет
contained in
отлично
processed
использовать
texts.
логику
It
и
will even use
сформулировать
logic
некие
excellently and
сверхъестественные
formulate some
данные,
conclusions from known data
сообщенные
not
ему
explicitly told to it.
явно. Но связать
But it cannot
факты
connect
вместе
facts that are
с
outwardly
не дано.
unrelated.
Сегодня робот
Today,
может
a robot robot can visually observe and recognize patterns. If you show it the correspondence between a picture and text, it will describe images or, conversely, create images based on descriptions. Such systems are quite popular, known as text-to-image, and I've been fascinated with one of them for over a year and a half. If you show the robot a lot of images, teach it to digitize them, link the objects in them with words, and tie distinctive pictorial techniques separately to the names of styles and artists, you get a quite professional imitator artist. Moreover, the robot may study so many pictures that an inexperienced person might think it has imagination. I call such artist robots artobots. It's worth talking about them separately, and we will definitely discuss them. But it's not limited to texts and images. In essence, the training of a neural network can include everything that we, humans, can name. Everything we can associate with a description of a process or phenomenon. These are digital and analog instrument readings, stock market data, video. If you equip a robot with tactile sensors and smell, you could prepare an excellent wine taster from it. Fortunately, this hasn't occurred to anyone yet. There's a video where I talk about data, information, and knowledge. So a robot can learn experience, that is, adopt the knowledge of millions of people, collect data, form information from it, check it, and extract new knowledge, that is, make conclusions and offer predictions. In doing so, it will mechanically apply the logic of deriving knowledge from information, learned from textbooks. Moreover, the robot will rapidly accumulate its own experience as we evaluate the conclusions and forecasts it issues. But aren't we humans doing the same thing, drawing conclusions based on knowledge and experience? I'm sharing all this to explain that these are not mythical wonders, but rather very technical means of automation. The computers we're accustomed to have also become tools for automating intellectual activities, but with artificial intelligence plus machine learning, we've entered a new phase of this automation. And it turns out that at this level, machines become not our assistants, but our competitors. In one short video, I say that I'm not afraid. Perhaps I'm ready to change my attitude. If you follow my train of thought, you might start to feel as scared as I do. Yes, robots are limited in their learning scope, but humans are limited by their education and personal experience. The conclusion is indeed frightening. An intelligent robot could master any profession that doesn't require creativity. That is, if it's not necessary to propose something that doesn't derive from existing experience somewhere by someone, artificial intelligence can perform the task, and technically it's already possible. It just needs to be taught. The learning technology exists too. It's the much talked about deep learning, which is rapidly developing and which, in fact, the leaders of public opinion in humanity are demanding to be restrained. Doctors, lawyers, traders, various kinds of analysts and consultants, designers, engineers, political scientists, copywriters, clerks, teachers. I can't think of an intellectual profession where 999 out of 1,000 people couldn't be replaced by artificial intelligence. Can you? If you can, please write it in the comments. I would be glad to be mistaken. Those who work with their hands and respond to situations, such as auto mechanics, repairmen of all kinds, small-scale builders, hairdressers, and cooks, will remain. I'd like to believe that there won't be robot tasters, so winemakers and blend masters will remain too. Personally, I think the fears about the emergence of superintelligence against this backdrop seem like pure nonsense. Everything is already intense as it is, and it's right on our doorstep. And this is only about professional competition. There are other serious risks, and we'll talk about them too. Honestly, I would have liked this video to be more optimistic. I'm being a bit disingenuous by glossing over the need for responsibility and empathy in many professions. But even then, a person will become an intermediary between the robot and another person. And the robot will learn from examples of using its decisions. And it will learn to imitate the same responsibility and empathy. So, what should we do? How do we find our place alongside robots? How can we ensure they remain assistants, not competitors? We could prohibit them, of course, but bans have not stopped technical development so far. We'll have to come up with something new and adapt. Thank God, for now, we're doing this better than neural networks. Or are we? We will definitely continue this conversation.